Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and greetings to everyone. We are live here today. I'd like to greet every one of you with the right hand of fellowship. We are going live here today, and I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us here at Blog Talk Radio Station. This is Oracle Divination Network. Thank you so much for joining the net this evening. And we are bringing you live news as well as we're talking about life in general. How many of you are living well with life? How many of you are living well with your life here on Facebook? And I'd like to say hello to all of my folks there. As you know, they try to put us on YouTube. I don't know what their problem is, but we're going on with the doggone thing. How's everybody doing this evening? Yes, this is me live talking stuff. You're illustrious only. You can put those digits in and call in at 319-527-6060. You can call in live and talk to your illustrious host live on the air. That's right. We are having an episode of Are You Living Well? Are You Aging Well? Now, with all of this low morale, bad character happening all around in our leadership, we must talk about it, because at one point we appointed our leaders from the church, and we thought we would fare well if we leaders and from the church, from the church, and we're being already into our political party. And as you know, our political party has gone west, the Democrats and the Republicans, and we don't know who to trust anymore. And once again, we are going to get on top of the topic, because we as African people, first world people, I might add, indigenous first world people, will be having the conversation about character and morals. Definitely. You cannot put yourself in a leadership position when your character and morals have gone west. No, you got to go down the straight and narrow. If you don't know which way to go down the middle. You're always right when you're in the middle. But when you start falling off the curve, doing things you ain't got no business doing, no, you morally wrong, and no, you doing something that's going to get you caught up. Why can't our leaders see this? Didn't Joe Biden know that if he listened to his son, that sooner or later his son will have him hooked on doing wrong things, and then down the road they're going to have serious, serious problems? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to deter anything, but we got to talk about this topic. I have interrupted these airways on my normal topic of Are You Living Well? This is a part of living well. If you cannot have good leadership and moralistic leadership, you are suffering. You are going through some mental strain. And I know you are. You're probably scratching your head and saying, what is the matter with these people. Don't they realize they got a lot of people to lead and to direct? And if you do, you definitely cannot be leading people down the primrose path. You cannot be making them think you're doing right when you're doing wrong. Hello out there, Timothy. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. Nice seeing you again. And we do ask that you would write down that phone number, 319-527-6060. You can call me live and speak to your hostess on the Blog Talk radio show. And once again, I am live on Blog Talk as well as live on Facebook. Where are my Facebook listeners? Timothy, go out and tell a friend, tell a foe that Omi is on, and give me those 2 thumbs up. Okay? And if you haven't signed up to become a follower, you definitely got to do that as a prerequisite. Yes, you do. I've had a lot of people follow me, and some that just come around nosy and trying to figure out what I'm saying. I want you to be a true follower. I don't want any fake friends hanging around me. All right, now. Now, we have about 100 people that I could call up here on Blog Talk. I don't want to trouble them. Those people that are out there that hear my voice, that know that I'm getting ready to throw down on the topic, come on in and voice your opinion. Yes, I am sick and tired of us black people standing on the wall, not wanting to say anything when things concern us. You have every right to say something. And when your leadership has gone sour and gone west, you better stand up and say something, because you might get taken down the primrose path. And some of us have. You got a lot of black folks that done kissed up to these leaders knowing they definitely wrong and knowing that they're taking us the wrong direction. And when we find out something wrong about our friend, what do? We go and investigate. We go check it out, okay? We go check it out. We don't play no games. We don't pull no punches. We say, look at here. If you're going to be my friend, you got to fly right. Stand up and fly right. What is this I hear about you doing? What is this about your morals and character is being challenged? You confront the sucker and you say, look, we might have been friends last month, but I understand that you are cutting up out here in these streets and we can't be no friends. You can't be my moralistic attachment, and I cannot walk with you, because if 2 walk together, they must both agree. And right now, we got some issues in our leadership. Ain't no 2 ways about it. We've got some issues in our leadership. How's everybody doing out there? Timothy, did you go and tell it on the mountain that Omi is here and that I'm talking stuff, and I'm going to be reporting the news for those of you who don't read into your station. The black news is now the news to consult. Not just 1 or 2 people out there. I don't want to hear about nobody doing it all by themselves. No, we can't do it all by ourselves. It takes sisterhood and brotherhood to do this thing, and communal worship. This is a ministry if you didn't know it. And I'm ministering to you guys light or night. You know what I mean, Timothy. Go ahead and say it. But just when I start a real good friend I found, they picked up, down. Okay, I see what you're saying, Timothy. Go ahead on. Preach. I'm giving you the license to preach, so go ahead on. Now, once again, I want you to know that our leadership has gone sour, and we may have a new president, but we have some moralistic behavior that needs to be checked. Yeah, he's gotten inaugurated there and pushed in there by any means necessary, but the brother got to be checked. Okay, not only the brother, his son, down to his whole family, we got to put him in check. We're not going to let no leadership lead us around committing moralistic sins and criminal behavior. Oh, no. You have to talk about it. Because if it was a black person out there doing that, they would have that person skinned, greased up, and ready for the boiling hot water. They wouldn't let him sleep an ounce. He wouldn't get to lead this country. He wouldn't get to be able to go to the inauguration. He would never make it. So why are we letting this person make it? And everything is across the news, everywhere you look, it's up in our face. How is it that we're going to give him a bye and a pardon? They didn't want to pardon Trump. They wanted to character assassinate him and impeach him without any evidence. And now, look at us, trying to sweep everything under the rug, trying to pile that dirt up under Biden, and Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. We're trying to cover it up. We can't cover it up, ladies and gentlemen. This is the age of Aquarius. I know we're supposed to love one another, but we got to call out sin. And if we don't call out sin, sin is going to eat us up alive. Right, Timothy? You know what I'm talking about, Timothy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. See, we got this thing going where we don't want to offend nobody, okay? And then we jump all on TV and say, look at our opponent. He won. We won. Everybody wants to be a winner. But when you find out that our leadership is living foul, we have to call him out. We have to say something. And we cannot be living well if we got poor leadership. It affects our own character and how we look up to our leaders. We got to have moralistic leaders that are leading us, else we become corrupted. And I don't want to be corrupted. And Timothy, I'm just going to tell you straight up, brother, right now we are living in a devastated period. We don't know whether this inauguration was sincere or not, or whether or not we're going to have to impeach your brother. We might be ready to impeach a brother, and he has been trying to get Trump impeached ever since he's been running this election. So now look where the hole is. Oh, Biden gets to fall in the hole. Not only him, but his son and his family. My God, when you get ready to mess up, do you have to mess up with your whole family? Do you have to go down with your whole family? Don't you have enough sense to say, family, no, I can't let you come into this. You stay out and keep your hands clean. I don't want you being pointed out in this particular capacity when I may have to go before the judge. See, Biden was protecting his household. He wasn't protecting his wife and his children and his uncles and aunties. He wouldn't say, no, y'all can't be a part of this. Me and Hunter may have gone crazy and lost our mind, but we're not going to let y'all fall into this mess with us. We're going to protect y'all. Y'all won't go free. He didn't even protect his wife. He didn't even protect his children and his aunties. He said, come on, y'all get a piece of this too. Bring y'all debit cards. Tap into this fountain of youth because we're going to drain it. We're draining the swamp. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Timothy, I tell you, it's a new day. And ain't nobody talking about it that's black. They're trying to be polite. They're trying to stay with the Republicans, with the Democrats, and say we are in good standing. No, to the hyena. And everything that is going to be done is going to stink. And we already see that these congressional orders that are taking place, do not hold good priority. It does not hold good priority. Now, you know why I say that? It doesn't hold good priority. Anytime you decide that you are going to use your congressional authority to come in and to clean up this situation with our refugees. That's been a long time problem, and now we're going to make it like a priority. And we got covert virus kicking people's butt and killing people off, and we worried about our borders right now and giving them hearts and citizenship? No. My God, no. Because that is a situation that Trump had under control because he was building the wall and he was being effective at it. And you're going to come along and shut down that assignment and take those people and match them up with their children? No. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Hello? Hello? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to, excuse me, we're going to I'm going to have to say something real quick. Those of us who are African American, you know that we couldn't even get an audience with Joe Biden to talk about the reparations. We are not going to be living because of this. We're going to have problems. We are becoming thirst. And if we don't get our reparation, you're going to have a large amount of people that will suffer. I seem to think that we are letting people slide and giving them a bide. And we cannot give our leadership a bide when they're doing wrong, and we have to point it out. And we are going to have to really get to the bottom of this about what we can do. And we don't get to the bottom of this, we're going to let sin consume us, and we're going to have a serious problem. And that's all to it. There's no two ways about it. We're going to have to leaders that are out there and that are listening. They're going to have to ante up, and they're going to have to make sure that they are, well, got a problem with this. We're not going to be able to go on here, so we're just going to just let that go. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm trying to run through the airways here. With airways. Okay. Now, meanwhile, back on the ranch. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to operate here under our YouTube, and it's not. So you can hear live on my blog radio station. The phone numbers there is 319-527-6060. You can phone in if you'd like to get into this conversation. Timothy, if you would like to appear live on the air and have your phone handy, dial 319-527-6060, and you can talk live to the host. And you can also talk about, and we are talking about our leadership. What has become of our leadership? And our credibility. When we make an oath to our country, and if we are operating any status of a position, be it vice president or president, we have a commitment and we have an obligation to live up to. But we cannot live up to those obligations if we're allowing our children to lead us around by nose and we're not listening to what the Spirit is saying to us. That tells me that Biden was not connected to the Spirit. If he let his son come and speak into his life without getting any recommendation from his higher self, how is he going to lead this country if he's so easily maneuvered by his son to take the wrong path and the wrong road. His son has driven him down a wrong road and a wrong path. And it's really bad when his son does something like that. And let's see what we got here. Hello there. Okay, Harrison. It's really bad when he has taken the leadership and direction of his son. And his son has driven him down an unmoralistic path. And now he has the shame on his shoulders because his son told him it would be all right. And Biden didn't have the fortitude or the wisdom to say, oh, no, son, that'll never work. We cannot exploit our capital and our legislature like this by making deals with our arch. Nevertheless, this went on. And very few African Americans are even talking about it. They're not realizing that something's going to have to be said about this. And it's going to affect the way we live. Our morals, our values will be tainted because of poor leadership. Now, I want to say something that we should have said a long time ago. We never checked out Joe Biden's character. We just assumed he was better than Trump. We just assumed because he was a Democrat, he fit the bill. We never asked anything about his character, his conduct. Never asked anything about that. Had he explored a little deeper, we would have found out he has a character problem. And then we could have said, okay, look, tolerate Trump for another season. We can bring him in until we find a better man. But we went the wrong direction. We just assumed Trump was so bad and he's doing us so bad. But in reality, Trump didn't do us so bad. He didn't do the black people as bad as we thought he did. But we didn't even check into Biden's history about the criminal laws that he created and the number of people that he actually had placed in jail. And then to think that he tells us to look to the Hispanic for our direction, and now he's giving them favor and letting them into the country, what will he give them next? Is he trading us off? Are they the new Negroes? And will the Hispanics be the people that will take our place? And are they leading this country even though they're not citizens? He's giving them a bye because now he's going to make them citizens. And we're standing by to watch it. And we're not saying, are these people taking our place? Are they the new Negroes? And we're not saying, why is he offering them so many accolades and gifts? He comes bringing them gifts. He takes his ability to write and uses his time and attention to write laws to free up the refugees. Now, if he's got a relationship with them, let him do it on his time. But he can't take the government's ability to write a congressional law and use it for something of nature. What about this pandemic guy going on? Has he reached out to look at what he can do to turn it around? That is emergency, but not bringing refugees into the country. That's not a priority. I'm a little concerned about his first 100 days. Will they be, for us as black people, will he ever get to the matter of looking at our agenda and the things we're asking for concerning the academic? We went to Trump. Trump said, I don't want you. And he tried to figure out what could he do. He not looked at anything for the black people. And I don't think he's going to look at anything anytime soon. There's no urgency for him to do so. Once again, I'd like to turn your direction to the fact that now the wall that Trump has started to build up and get prepared with all the construction men who come in and they've invested money into building the wall. Now they're talking about tearing it down. So what's going to happen to all that money already been put into that project? Will that money be wasted? At a time like this, there needs to be a town hall meeting to address our brother Joe Biden and his matters he has. And he goes up with his family before he starts any inauguration. He needs to go back to address that problem that we have. Right now, the way that his own people are going and they're looking into this thing much deeper, they might ask our inaugurated president to step aside and to be impeached. They are not playing with him. They are looking seriously for something against Biden. There was a laptop and there were conversations in the emails pertaining to his son being connected with foreign countries. We don't want to call out espionage, and we don't want to say it too soon, but somebody on his side of the race is looking very hard into this. They want to take him down, and his father and his family. And then what? Does the vice president step up and take his place? What kind of luck will we have with Mrs. Harris? Will she be a friend of the indigenous people, since she's talked so much about her nationality as a Jamaican and as a Middle Easterner Indian? Will she be ready to take the cost of reparation, or can she handle that topic? We might be in a better position than what we think if they're going to take Joe Biden down and his son, and he's going to have to resign or get impeached. Then Kamala Harris may be getting in position to take the role of our next new first minority president. And if that is the case, can we appeal to her about our needs and about what needs to be taken care of and should have been taken care of? Can we talk to her? Can we talk to Kamala Harris about our needs? We'll be feeling and faring much better if we can get an audience with her to let her know that she knows, Black, Jamaican, Mid-Easterner, that we have been delayed. Now, she can make that a deferment and not a delay if she put it high on the priority and write a congressional order to address the needs of the first world African American people, and that is reparations. We are hurting very bad. If we don't get some finance pretty soon, we're going to become a permanent underclass. This is why you are finding the criminalistic ways of some of our people. They are doing whatever they can to survive, financially survive. And now that we've told the world they can be anything they want to be and they can have all the money they want to have, these youngsters are trying to get it. They're trying to buy for it, even though they haven't gone to school, even though they haven't put time in college. They still want they want everything that the average Joe got and more, and do anything to knock somebody upside the head to get it. Well, they're making our new heroes the hip-hoppers, and they're exploiting everything they got. They're exploiting all their diamonds and jewels and gold, and they're saying, look at what I got. And they're also intriguing some of our young children that if you become a hip-hopper, you can have all these things too. Nevertheless, we got a society of materialistic needs where they will continue to kill, fight, steal, whatever they have to do. And if we don't get a different society in here soon to talk about what about hard work, what about perseverance, what about goals and objectives, what about waiting your turn until you can get that piece of paper? Well, we got a serious problem. Our judicial system is broken, and our police system is broken. But we want to know: can we patch it up? Can we uh, can we renew it? I say that it has to be dismantled and re-established by our own kind. We cannot take a chance and giving our judicial system over to a society that was only using that institution for white men in power who were rich, who owned property, and who owned their own businesses. Those institutions were designed to protect them, just as well as our school system was designed for the white male in power who owned slaves, and it was built for them, the school system. And then the police system was built for them because the black laws were on the books, and it was designed to protect the white males, the white males things and stuff. So the white male was ranking very high, and all of these institutions were built to protect him. Yes, there were black codes out there. They didn't create a police department to protect the African Americans. It was to protect the white males in power who owned slaves and had businesses. And we don't even remember that that's why these institutions were built in the first place. And if that is the case, it must be dismantled for the African American first world people. We must have a different society of judicial system. We must have a different society for police that will police our own time. So we got to get serious about this. Stop playing, talking about we could patch it up, we could renew it, we can dismantle it. Oh, no, you've got to tear it down. Because can new wine go to an old vessel? No, you got to get rid of that vessel and put that wine into a new vessel. But yet we're sitting here, Keith, how are you? We're sitting here, non-obliging, acting like we don't have the ability to have communal talks, just like Ice Cube went in to talk to the president. He was serious. He wanted to know what part of this referendum can you support? And Trump said, yes, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Now, if he didn't do nothing else, he gave some time to the young brother. And then we wanted to put the young brother out. Why are you over there talking to the enemy? No, he wasn't the enemy. He was somebody that could help in a time of need. Now, when he goes to Joe Biden puts him off and said, now, son, I'll talk to you later. I got too much on my plate. I'm dealing with all kinds of issues. And he was. He really was. So he wasn't going to ever get to our issues. So what makes us think that they're going to put our issues on the table and make it a burning desire to us? Not unless you make enough noise. Okay, you might have went out there and marched. Okay, they showed you what they will do with the next rioters. They're going to shoot and kill them. So marching and rioting isn't the solution or the way to go to get our issues heard. It's not the way. And as I said before, that we build up an army of those who have the ability to speak and to talk. We don't go into marching and letting them water hose us and fighting. We go into regimes where we can sit down and break bread together and spread the word of us having the ability to set up our own judicial system and to govern it. Because it did come from the Native Americans. They were instrumental in putting that institution together called the judicial system. But yet it seems like the natives who were not even educated got more out of this procedure than we ever did. And we got the degrees, the master's degrees and the PhDs and the DDDs, and we still can't find a way to sit down and say, look, we structured out a discussion here, and we're going to put to you and tell you what we're going to do. We're not going to ask your permission. We're going to tell you what we're going to do. Whether you support it or not, we're going to lay down the facts, just the facts. But see, we don't want to take the lead. We keep giving them the lead over our situation. It'll never work because there is a survival of the fittest. And whoever gets to the top first is the one that's going to lead. We have got to stop letting people lead us and handle us. When someone tries to handle you that don't care for you, he could care less how he handles you. Now, for once and for all, we got anarchy all around us, and that is a deterrent. So while they're dealing with that issue, we should deal with the real matter of the situation, and that is to formalize our own judicial system while they take care of the Biden and his family issue. Yes, I know I went to Trump and said, here, these are the things on the referendum, this is what I want. It has to be a step and procedure as to how you propose to get there. You have to have a map. You have to have a plan of how you're supposed to get there. Any old direction can't do. We can't mess up on this. We cannot give somebody a chance and give it over to the chance and say, like, no. Only those who is going to affect for our judicial system. And we must know that we are not written into the Constitution. We were never thought of when they wrote that Constitution. And don't think that Lincoln decided to free you because he had some type of mesmerization for you black people that he wanted y'all to have all equal standing with him. No. He wanted to preserve the Union. He said he wanted to preserve the Union. He said if he had his druthers, he wouldn't have freed the slaves. He would have preserved the Union. It's never been about us. So let's not get teary-eyed and say, well, Lincoln was going to free us. He's going to save us, and he let us free. No, he did not. Check your history. We got to understand that nobody's having teary eyes for us. And these refugees that are running around here that are brand new, they're brand new. And we're talking about let's connect them back to their mammies and their pappies so they can be happy ever after. Come on now. They have not said one time about the displacement of this and how we had to go and live with the Native Americans. They never said anything about those marriages that they broke up and those young kids that they tore apart from their mother. It hasn't been talked about. And now they're saying, well, your mother not even doing it. Y'all didn't go through slavery. Y'all know shit. No, that wasn't y'all. I don't know if this is a psych or what, but they're trying to make us think we never experienced slavery or anything like it. And some of us have bought into it. Some of us have experienced slavery now. It may not have been us, and it may have not been our immediate family, but some of our families have experienced slavery. Now, even if they lie to us or not, we have to build this country. We have to lay down the railroad tracks, the White House, the obelisk. We lay down the construction of how the White House is laid out. We have been a part of the inception of this world. And they don't know a time when we weren't here. We've always been here. So don't let nobody tell you that you were Johnny come lately and you came over later. You came over before the Pilgrims, okay? And your families were here operating, occupying. But you've got to get it in your mind that this ain't no way for living. This ain't no way to live. And then we ask ourselves, are we living well? No, we're not living well. Anytime we've got to question someone who has poor judgment, poor leadership, and foul behavior, and they're leading us somewhere, they can't lead us anywhere. They first have got to go and repent of their own sin and get in right standing, gotten to the so desperate for anyone to lead us. They can have moralistic problem and bad behavior. We could care less. We just want somebody to take the seat and the role leading us. No, no. I don't want anyone to lead us. They have to have more and good judgment. And we got to demand that of whoever runs this. We got to demand that. And if they're not up to par, and if their morals have been tainted, and their judgment has been tainted, we got to say, step back. That's for another time. We got to get some wholesome people up in here that's going to lead something that we can believe in. He'll never give us a chance of telling our story about what we need to have our reparations. He's trying to get rich, and he's trying to line his pockets, and by any means necessary, even if he has to steal from the government, or even if he has to pass on to it of the government. You see what's happening here? We see it behind him. We see it. But yet we can't believe it. We can't believe it. We're still telling ourselves, how could it be? How could it be? We still say that. And Mr. Green, I'm going to say that we as a people were told that we were going to get a greenhouse. And I said, let's go downtown and get our check. He told us, checks waiting to go. Did any of us go? No, because Martin said it too late. Martin said it was he said it when he was on his way out of here getting ready to die. Okay, you. Okay. No. See, Martin said it too late. He said it when he was on his way out. He should have told us when he was new at the game, we're going to plan to go down and get our check. And then from then on, we would have been going down there to get our checks. But no, he had to add something to my turn the other cheek. When they hit you on one side, that was all wrong too. He had no business telling us that. He should have a spirit of war and how to war with pen and paper. And then we could have been at the inauguration talking about our rights and have gone to the government system and took our case to the government or to the United Kingdom somewhere. Nevertheless, I don't care how rich we get, I don't care how much promotion we get, and how much we move to the glass ceiling. Unless we all get some reparation, we all are broke. And don't tell me how much progress you made last week and how you moving up the charts and how you becoming a hip-hopper and singer. Don't tell me how well fed you are and how many diamonds you got and how many necklaces you got until all your people are free. None of your people are free. And some of us have made it in college, got our degrees, and I got 3 of them. And I still am fighting the cause. Because, see, you can get as many degrees as you want and credentials. They could care less. You are not going to go on probation to become white. Now, but the Hispanics are, because they didn't classify themselves as white. They are waiting on probation to become white. Like it or not, that's the next step. They will become jaded and become white. They will not be a people of color. And therefore, they will slip them in. And they will be the new white folks that are coming over on the border. But we better really look alive when it comes to understanding what they're doing with these refugees. Because right now they're doing us a disservice. They really are. They're making it a high priority to address their issue. Then we gotta jump that situation and say, wait a minute, hold up. Did not our actors entertain you? Did not our actors entertain you? We as black folks have done a whole lot of this country, and they can't do without us. Ain't no sense of them pretending like they can ship us away and live without us. There's a whole lot Hispanics can't do, and that's number one, is to speak English. And it's going to take a while for them to properly engage in English. In the meantime, you got a lot of cleaning up to do with Hispanics. So don't ever, Joe Biden, tell us that we need to look to the Hispanics for our directions, for our guidance. When we've gotten the education that you told us that we need, We went through the institution. They have not even gotten the green card, and now you're ready to promote them. No, not over us you can't. No. And if anybody in here black that allows that to go on, it is to your own demise. You will be missing out and losing. This is not a charity case where we let them wash dishes for us and let them clean our latrines and let them do the dirty work. No, it's not about that. They're going to slap a degree on them so fast and educate them, and you'll never know that they were not speaking English when they came here. They're going to do everything they can to get them ready and prepared. So, right now, as the black people, we are not forming groups and meetings and saying, what is this all about? We got a corrupt president coming into office, and he wants to put us in prison and create the crime bill for us? Hell no. Cannot be preparing to put us in prison when he done out post to post with his criminalistic behavior. Oh no, he got to show some pardons. He's got to show some exemption by word of the fact that he has to admit I was wrong and I am perfect. So I can't lock up no more of these black men because they are not all guilty. But yet, nevertheless, he sits in the White House as a clean person, and knowing that he has been very much living fire. So we got to come to some kind of conclusion that on these airways that we're going to be talking about it until they let us in on what is the decision for what they're going to do about Joe Biden's bad behavior. What are they going to do since he's leading someone? Are they planning impeachment? And if they are, what are the criteria for impeachment? Because we need to know what the next move is going to be. We can't be sitting around here waiting till they make some decision. We've got to be on with this thing and pull out all of the regulations on the natural law and on various different laws that pertain to impeachment. What do you have to do to impeach someone? And what does someone have to do to get impeached? And how can you impeach them based on the option of them selling our secrets to another country? Now, that is very, very serious. It's a very serious charge. Now, I don't care what Joe Biden's son wanted to do. Joe Biden should have stayed the heck out of that situation. And he should have told his son, I can't be a part of this, son. I can't do it. But he went right along with it as if nobody was watching him, as if nobody was going to impeach him for what he did. But some of us are going to come along in the situation, and they're going to speak up. Hold tight. We're going to commercial. for those of you who still would like to have access to this station, please do come out. We're going to play Dusty Road again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your own People 7 live coming at you from Facebook. This is a live television station that I'm broadcasting on. And I don't know if you can see my studio in the back. We're working on the studio, and we get kind of, close to be finished. Background studio, if you can see it. Hopefully we'll have everything together. Just trying to get some of the things up on the wall. I don't know if you can get those things. Yes, the studio is coming along pretty good. I don't have the notes I thought I would have, so I'm doing all this by myself. I just found it all by myself. I'll get a little closer. The pictures on the wall of my outstanding singers, Louis Armstrong, and everything else. And with the Jackson Singers. These are my old guitars. I'll be doing some music with that. This is Foundation, the gentleman that actually designed my logo, who I met in the military. He is also to me when I first started them out with music. And here is Omni Inca 7 and 5. This is Susu Billy and William. I hope you're able to see that. All right, I got to get over to my station. This is a small room, but it will serve the purpose. And once again, I'd like to encourage you to become a member of our Blog Talk radio station. It's free to become a member of the station or for the Nation Network, or you can call in at 319-527-6060 and let me know that you're interested in our platform. We do advertisements on our platform, but we're dealing with paranormal. And I wanted you to know that we are a ministry, so our paranormal is to deal with the spirituality and to deal with anything like clairvoyance, clairaudio, dreams, anything that you normally could not talk about in your churches. And let's see who's saying something here. The number, okay, the number of my show is 319-527-6060. You can call in at that number. Okay. No, let me give you this other number. Don't take that number down. The number of my show is 516-453-9208. That is the guest call-in number. Once again, 516-453-9208. You can call into that number. Don't call into the other one. I was giving you another number that's on my host list. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the situation that we have with our leadership. Our Constitution tells us that we are not citizens, and that it needs to be ratified every 10 years. If I'm not mistaken, it has to be ratified in order to keep us in a position of citizenship. And we need to get that clear. We need to find out what would happen if they revoke parts of the Constitution and specifically wrote us in as first world people. And that's what we're going to have to do when we rewrite our Constitution. We're going to have to align ourselves in the Constitution as the first world people, indigenous people, okay? And we're going to have to start coming together in groups, connecting ourselves with the Native Americans and letting them know brothers and sisters, but we're not natives. we're indigenous to the element and to the climate. We've been here long before any native has been here. We have to learn our history, and we have to start talking about our tribes, and we have to start looking at our Seminole Indian tribe, looking at our Geechee tribes, looking at our various different tribes, because the first 5 civilized tribes, and they were helping the non-melanized white man to govern us, and they enslaved us, and sometimes for particular reasons to protect us. And the freedmen came along. They wanted to separate us under the Freedmen's Bureau. They had Indians that were under Freedmen's Bureau, and there was certain training that they gave the Indians. They were trying to civilize them to make them more like Caucasians. But we are 92% native or 92% indigenous, and a lot of us don't even know that we carry that blood quantum. But it's important for us to know more about our blood quantums, who our tribes were, trying to connect with our tribes like the Cree tribe, Blackfoot Indians, a number of them that we need to connect with, and we need to get involved in that as soon as we can, because they can help us a lot with the history and writing of our new Constitution. We certainly need to rewrite the Constitution. I don't care how old of a document it is, we need to rewrite it because it doesn't include us anywhere. And we've got to be able to see ourselves in the history book. I taught history for a while, and some of the stuff they had me teach them were lies. And I had to come back to the schools and let them know that this is a lie and that's a lie, and that's not how we work. Everybody wants to define us, but we need to use Kujichagulia for ourselves and not let anyone else define us. We let somebody else do a job. Oh, here we got a caller. Let's see here. Hello. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
How are you? Who am I speaking to?
This is Timothy Warren. I was on your video.
Hi, Timothy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What about yourself?
I'm doing just great. You are regular on my show. I'd like to commend you for being such a consistent follower, and you always come with good tidings and things to say. So what do you like to talk about this evening, Timothy?
The same thing you're talking about, and I definitely respect what you're saying, you know what I'm saying, but a lot of things that you're saying, it's profound, being the person you are, with the education you have. It's profound to know what these people have done to us, historically speaking. And today we look to them for solving our problems? No, that's not what. You know what I'm saying? When you check history, like you was just talking about, I say unchecked history repeats itself. You said something earlier about Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, he's an old man. You know what I'm saying? And he was living during the times when racism was blatantly in our faces, and he validates that through the laws that you spoke of that, you know what I'm saying, was against our communities. And all I'm saying is, if you wish to be, we have to educate ourselves, people, and I'm not talking about European scholarship. I'm not talking about that stuff that they taught you. This education involves you doing the work yourself. And like you said earlier about, that's what got me into, I call it knowledge of self, because I wanted to find my people not only in the Bible, but in the world as well, and yeah, you said they of course they've lied about everything, and my point is, if they lied about one thing, you know what I'm saying, you must question everything else, even God, and the people that's seeking the solutions to, you know what I'm saying, to enhance their lives today, you spoke on dismantling the system. You know what I'm saying? All those answers are found in African scholarship, in our history. but this is the history that they don't teach you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we call this Sankofa. You know, Sankofa means go back and get your history. You know, go back and get your holistic way of life. You know, so you're not worried about a vaccine. You're not worried about disease. You know what I'm saying? Before the Pilgrims came to America, you know, for the folks that was already here, there was no disease in America. The Europeans brought that over here.
I'm glad you brought that up, Timothy, because if you can remember the Black Plague, when the Black Plague was taking its course over in Europe, you had the European non-Melanite people going to Africa to look for a cure, and they were looking for their cures in indigenous people. Now, here we get a so-called virus, which I don't even think exists because viruses are in all of us, but nevertheless, we are looking to them for a vaccine. Not in this lifetime. We should be more connected to Mother with, we should have the ancestors speaking to us that we have a cure within our genes, and it will give us that vaccine. It will alter our DNA.
Yeah, but if you don't have the education, then you'll never know that. That's what I'm saying. People want to know what you just said, and you're right. It's in our blood. This is our birthright to know this information that I'm trying to articulate to you, as well as that you're articulating to the people. It's our birthright to, you know what I'm saying, practice our culture. It's our birthright to see the world differently from other groups of people in the world, to eat differently from other groups of people in the world. You know, but you said something about the Indians have been, you know what I'm saying, the white man has prepared the Indians to be white. And they did the same thing to us. They did the same thing to us. You know, we didn't, you know, for the Africans that came here on the slave ship, they didn't speak English. Now they do. You know? So all I'm saying is we can't expect our open enemy to empower us, whether if it was Trump, Biden, Clinton. You know, people still don't know the history on Clinton. But they hold them people at such high praise.
Let me give that phone number out again. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Timothy Warden, and he's speaking here on the show today. You can call at 516-453-9208. Please do call in and join the conversation. Timothy, I want to insert something here. You're a very learned man, and I'm not talking about Eurocentric teaching. I'm talking about, you mentioned Sankofa. We must know that without knowing our past, we cannot plan for our future. We do not have a present. We mix our past to create our future, and Sankofa gives us that, so that we must know that this pandemic that they're talking about, it has nothing to do with us. They keep quoting these statistics that a large portion of black folks are dying. Now, I worked in the hospital before, and I do know that ventilators are nothing to play with. If you are not skilled in the technology, you have no business setting someone up on the ventilator because you will kill them. Those were mercy killings that they were creating in the hospital with all those people on the ventilator that were not attended to. So once those ventilators shut down, those people became brain dead, and they had to throw their bodies out. And it was made to look like large sums of people were dying from COVID. They weren't dying from COVID. They were dying from the oxygenated from those ventilators.
This is how they practice. This is how our white counterparts practice mass genocide. That's what it's called. They disguise it like they're there to help you. But like I said, man, they're targeting black people still with the COVID. I mean, aren't we tired of being, you know what I'm saying, fuel for their agenda, people, brothers and sisters? Ain't you tired of being, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't voting, it's the COVID. If it ain't COVID, it's AIDS. If it ain't AIDS, it's the war on drugs. Ain't you tired of that? Well, you, if you're tired of it, like I said, educate yourselves. Learn to see the world through African eyes rather than European eyes, because the European worldview is detrimental to our existence.
You got a point there, because when you see the light of your situation, it's gloom and doom, and there's no solution. But we alone stepped up and say, wait a minute, hold on. You will not create an antidote for us. We know that Dr. Sebi is gone. We know that Dr. Viola is gone. Enter some people.
They may be gone. No, I don't mean to cut you off. This is what I'm saying. They're not gone. Their rhetoric and that information should be living through us, because we should be applying what Dr. Sebi told us, not just knowing it. We should be applying it because it works. Layla Africa is another person outside of Dr. Sebi. This is, some of us say we are the ancestors. I am Malcolm X. I am Fred Hampton. I am Queen Nzinga. Because that rhetoric, you know what I'm saying, and them fighting against white aggression, you know what I'm saying, that lives through me. But that's something that I had to teach myself. Like I said, the Western education didn't teach me about Africa. And if they did teach me about Africa, it wasn't nothing good. They even taught me I'm not even Egyptian. No wonder black people don't know knowledge of self. No wonder we don't know what Sankofa means, because we've been taught to hate the place we come from. Period.
Yeah. And now it's getting worse because you got these teachings about being indigenous, and you're saying, oh, I'm Africa. Well, I equate that all the world was created in Africa, so we had to start and have our inception somewhere, no matter if we are first world, but we started from America.
All I'm saying is the instructions that instructed the world on how to behave started in Africa. Nothing precedes the concept of salvation. We created that concept. Other groups of people in the world revised that concept. So black people, go to the source. Go to Africa. That's where all your solutions are. That's where your
and we must
that's
talk
where your
about
solutions
reasoning.
are.
We must talk about reasoning, because when we talk about Alexander the Great and all those Aristotle, we created reasoning long before he came on the scene. We taught the Caucasian who was living in the cave about reasoning.
Exactly.
We taught them cleanliness, hygiene, and how to walk on his 2 feet rather than on 4s. And we taught them the reasoning concept behind it, not to tickle your loved ones and to eat raw meat, but to understand that sanitize. We taught all these things, but yet we're playing the second fiddle. We're now saying we're waiting
because we don't know our history. That's why we're playing second. That's why we put everyone before us, because you don't know your roots. You're scared of voodoo because you don't know your roots. You're scared of witchcraft because you don't know your roots. And when you know your roots, you'll stop looking to them people.
They pretend that it is not the stuff, and they pretend that they don't know anything about roots. But you let somebody put something on them, they're going down south to find some voodoo woman to get it off of them.
Look,
or hoodoo woman.
I just want to say, you know what I'm saying. Once you know your roots and know your history, white supremacy has no power over you. The president has no power over you. I mean, it may have power over other people. You know, they may tell other people to wear a mask and use hand sanitizer. But like you said, we taught y'all hygiene. So why, you know what I'm saying, for individuals like you and I and many more, are we listening to them? And I don't tell people to listen to them. In order to change this, we must, like you said, dismantle the system and implement a system for all walks of life. And I call that system Mayat, because that was the society that we came from. And that society lasted for over 5,000 years unbroken. No other civilization in the world or no other society in the world has duplicated that. So why aren't we practicing what our ancestors practiced is all I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Educate yourself on Africa, the science, the arts, and you'll see, you know what I'm saying, everything, you'll see all the contributions your ancestors contributed to the world. Also, you'll see how other groups of people in the world has credited them contributions to themselves, like the Asians, like the Europeans. The father of medicine is an African. a black man by the name of Imhotep. That's what they taught you. See? And for the kids to get that information, they will excel in school.
It might be to our benefit to have the school system dismantled. Maybe this is a time when we can step in with our choice system and create our Maya institution and create our Egyptian schools so that we can teach ourselves correctly and that these children can get a knowledge of self. We teach
That's the point.
Twofold. We teach a curriculum from the Eurocentric, and then I teach an African-centric. I teach in twofold. We're doing extra work, and when we can set up our own schools and get choice schools to support us.
Exactly. Because truth be told, we know the European side already, like the back of our hands. It's that knowledge of self that, you know what I'm saying, will really benefit, you know what I'm saying, not only the black community, because all people, well, I say both the black and white race, both of them have been miseducated. One thinks they're superior, while the other people believe it, and that's not right. That's not accurate. So you know what I'm saying? Like I said, in Egypt, Kemet, Ethiopia, you know what I'm saying? There were white people there, but they wasn't considered white. See, that's something else.
Well,
if you don't know your history, you know what I'm saying?
What do you feel about the fact that we can no longer adapt the judicial system that we currently have? We can't mend it. We can't shake it down. We've got to dismantle it and start our own. Because Native Americans were very good for stepping in with the laws and creating the actual judicial system we have.
Well,
and the problem we're having
who taught
is
the natives?
Should be handled by another race of people anyway. We should have had our own judicial system and our own police department. How do you feel about that?
We did have our own. That's my point. And who taught the natives what they know? Who taught the natives about spirituality? Who taught the natives about healing themselves? Who taught the natives salvation? Our ancestors. Unless you know what I'm saying, don't identify with being African, but all family trees can be traced back to an African. The black man and black woman is the mother and father of Western civilization, as well as white folks.
Well,
That's what I know.
We know that, Timothy, because we found the bones of Degnish, and they called her Lucy, and her bones were African descent, and all civilizations came down through her womb.
No, like I said, I don't call it a debate with you. That confuses the people even more. Those are Egyptologists and anthropologists who attempt to write our people out of history. I mean, if that's true with what you just said, where do they come from? See? Mm-hmm. Where do they come from? Because it ain't Africa. But again, that's how they try to manipulate our story to include themselves. Because when they came to Africa, and they saw the writings on the walls and the pictures, they didn't see themselves in it. See? So they envy that. You know what I'm talking about? They're jealous of that. And look how they treat us today.
Let's get back to current issues now that we are struggling with. I never thought that I would come to see a situation where character and moral would be on trial. And character and moral is now on trial. And it almost looks like they want to convict Trump of his character and moral and impeach him. But the whole situation turned around. And that was some supernatural, psychiatric, psychological realms that were out there changing the course of this world. And when I saw that happen, I knew the ancestors were on board with what was going on. Now Joe Biden and his loved ones are on trial.
That's where I bow out at, and that's where you and I disagree. Because, you're right with what you're saying. But at the same time, it's always been like that for you and I. And you know what I'm saying, older than me. You're my elder. And like I said, man, once upon a time, you couldn't even look them people in the face. You talk about character. You know what I'm talking about. You're talking about respect. And like I said, man, the nothing's changed is what I'm saying. It used to be blatant, and now it's covert. Now it's in the laws, see? And you know what I'm talking about, the vaccines. And that's how they practice, again, mass genocide and their racism secretly. They hide it, and before they didn't hide it. So that's when whatever happens with, as far as the presidency and all that stuff is, I don't even entertain that, because that's a distraction from, you know what I'm saying, healing. That's a distraction from black people.
You probably are right. It is a distraction, a deterrent. Let's go to the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. We're speaking with Timothy Warren on the lines here, and I am Omiinka 7, your illustrious host, and my number here is 516-453-9208. Please call in with your opinions and your discussions about what are we going to do about morality and character. And once again, Timothy, we're talking about morality and character. It's on trial here, and it seems that a white boy or a white man, his character can go on and be tainted, and nothing can be done and said. But yet, we now are having this feeling of all of the European people standing up, giving their input on the morality of Joe Biden, his son, Hunter Biden, and his relatives. Now, I don't have time to find these people, but I do know this much. We better be about the business of setting up our own regime while they go through this fiasco, because it is a fiasco, and whether anything is going to be done about it, we don't know. But nevertheless, we've got to lay down some laws for our judicial system for us. We've got to lay down laws for our police system. And
I say, learn your voodoo. I say, learn your magic, because the purpose of voodoo is to build good character. Yeah, it's to build good character.
I'm glad you said that, Timothy, because our whole conversation on voodoo is good character. Iwa Pelu, good character and good conduct. And this is what's going to lead us back to good character and good conduct. And for those of you who are looking for a place to go to get the training, I am a bona fide priestess that actually was taken under the fellowship of Chief Metahochi Zanu Wali, and I was actually ordained and initiated up under him. And one of the things I do teach is morality, and I would like to open up our doors to invite you to be a part of Oracle Divination Network for free. You will have access to all of our tapes and videos. You can listen to the stories from the chief that have come to be interviewed, as well as if you're interested in becoming someone who would like to be initiated and would like to start the process. I'm not about the law, but I can help you get in the position of being one of our devotees and then matriculate up the ladder to work with the chief. But we need to be doing this for our people, because church has failed.
Exactly.
And a lot of us have left church, and we're no longer members of a church because the churches have ran out the back door. They refuse to help. So we've got to turn to a way of life. I don't introduce you to a church. I don't invite you to a church, but a way of life. It is not a religion. The way of life, that is a smooth thing that Jesus went for the smooth things. If you know who Jesus is, Jesus and the Christ is just a title. You can wear the title of Christ as well. But you can look at Olodumare, who is our God, and to look at Ori, who sits on your head, and who is your conscious, your higher self. These are things that you could be learning about and feel good about knowing about your heritage.
I have a 12-year-old daughter, and you're right with everything you said. But we got to bring this clarity to the people that's listening. And the guys that you named, those are just personalities of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can either flex your God in you, or you can flex your devil in you. It's your choice. You know what I'm saying? Ogun, you know what I'm saying? Urzuli, Mambo, Mayat, Sekhmet. These are all principles that live within you. You know what I'm talking about. And what voodoo taught me is, if you can't speak truth at all times, then you have no courage. You have no courage. And a lot of, like you spoke about the leadership earlier, a lot of our leaders don't have courage. And more importantly, you know what I'm saying? I don't want no one following me. I don't want followers. I develop leaders. You know what I'm saying? If you're just going to follow me, that's on you. I'm not going to entertain that. I want people to do the work themselves, not come to me with questions. They'll wear you out. You got to do the work yourself, people, and learn this on your own. Learn the tree of life.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
A very good point. Everybody looking for a leader, someone put the burden on. I don't want to be anybody's leader, and if I can't teach you to stand on your own 2 feet, it's a mighty poor dog that won't even wag his own tail. So we need to build up leadership in our community and stop talking about we're looking for the next leader.
That's right. That's right. Because we all are leaders when we know our history, and that's the point. It's your birthright, brothers and sisters. Your birthright that was suppressed by design. Suppressed means hidden, denied. You think the aliens built the pyramids, for example, and they didn't. Your ancestors did. And so you have that same intelligence, that same creativity, and that same potential to create something greater than what our ancestors did. Michael Jackson said, life ain't so bad after all, people, if you live it off the wall. The walls of Kemet, the walls of Egypt.
Okay. All right. I like that. I didn't equate that to Kemet. That's cool. Like, let's read to Timothy Warren. If you care to join us in a deep conversation, our number is 516-453-9208. You can call in and speak to the host, or you can speak to Timothy and join in the conversation talking about what we must do to dismantle our system. Our whole world has been turned upside down, people, and we have lost our touch. We've lost our mother. We don't know that we can go in our pharmaceutical kitchens and whip up a brew and take that brew and wipe out whatever is ailing us. We don't even realize that honey, just a simple taste of honey, would cure a lot of those colds and those infections.
That's right.
But nevertheless, we have fallen prey to becoming stupid what concerns us. We are falling prey to allow someone to lead us around by the nose instead of saying, hey, let me consult my ancestors. Let me go into my closet and fall on my face. Go ahead.
And what's funny is we know more about their ancestors than our own. George Jefferson, or Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin. I mean, we know all that. But when it comes to your founding mothers and fathers, we're clueless. And that's what I'm saying, people, you got to educate
Absolutely,
yourself.
Timothy.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because we need to get that grade. So we had to memorize all those particular white presidents. And it's a shame that we don't explore into Maya and understanding Egyptology.
Not yet. And Egyptology, forget Egyptology. Egyptology is white folks writing away our truth, first and foremost, brothers and sisters. But what I wanted to say is when you educate yourself, you'll not only know about your culture and your history, but you'll also know about other groups of people's culture and history as well. And that's key because when it comes to the white man, it's his nature to be narcissistic, to be in control, to exploit you. You know, that's his nature. And when black people act like the white man, we call that a learned behavior. We're not even acting like our natural selves. We have become more European and less indigenous, less African, less native, or whatever you want to call yourself. You act more like a European than you do your ancestors. You know, you eat like them, you think like them.
Let me say something here, Timothy. We ought to be able to give prophecy in times like this. And because we are seers, we're able to clairvoyantly see into the lives of others and clairaudio to hear things that are in other countries. And as a seer, I like to say that we're coming up on a time where we are no longer going to be patterning ourselves after the non-Melanite person. Some of us are going to come forward, and that's why the the ancestors have been pushing me to call on all of those women of the cloth, women that are petty bees, women that are priests and priestess, and by the laws to come out front. You are our medicine man and healers. You ought to be out front on the show with me, supporting me. Where are you hiding at? You don't have to keep this way of life a secret. You can reveal about voodoo, hoodoo, and you can talk about Obatala, Shango, Alegba. You can talk about all of these people, because now is the time to bring them forward. And you need to be educating those who are not well founded in this grounded ancestorship thing. I've been teaching now for 11 years in this area. I need help. And I'm pleading with somebody that is of the cloth and that who is a priest, a high priest. And I even brought one of the high priestesses aboard with Mrs. Stone Dion. I brought her forward to talk about her past work as a priestess. And they wanted to crucify her. They wanted to condemn her. But look at how her music is prevailing now. And the only thing she had to help her was her being a priestess. That's what saved her. But we don't want to talk about those people. We keep them a secret, and we suppress anything that deals with voodoo. Quit suppressing voodoo and let your sword, which is the word of mouth, a powerful word that you'll get from voodoo. Please understand that this is where your warfare is.
Learn from your Haitian ancestors, people. Learn from your Haitian ancestors. That's how they won their independence.
Absolutely.
Period. So you should embrace it.
And he's talking about people like Bookman Dadi, John Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture. They fought a war and they went to graveyards and they asked their ancestors to accompany them in the war. And when they called them, they came up from the grave and they fought with them and they were victorious and they won the war.
That's where I don't explain it to people like that because I don't want it to sound spooky. You know, the point of it is to believe in yourself and believe in every word that comes out of your mouth and be mindful of the words that come out of your mouth. If you say you ain't shit, then 9 times out of 10, you're not. See? You got to speak positive affirmations over yourself. And when you turn to your ancestors, you know, that's an unseen thing. You know, it's not something you can touch. It's divine order when you go, just like the Haitians went to their ancestors. You know, some folks say the ancestors came up out of the grave, and that may spook some black people. That's why I don't say that. You know what I'm saying? I let these folks know that they have the potential.
We were telling tales out of school, and that's how I got the story. And
did that empower you, though?
They came up out of the grave. Leonard Jeffrey talks about his ancestors coming up out of the grave to assist and aid him. And a lot of us were born here with our ancestors who traveled here to Earth with us, and I'm one of them. So people tell me all the time that they see extra people around me.
However you were told, did it empower you or did it scare you when you first heard about your ancestors coming up from the grave?
It empowered me to know that dry bones can get up and walk, you know, if you're in the supernatural. You have to be in the supernatural to see it, though.
I'm just being realistic with the religion that's been beaten to. I mean, my mama, I got a mama that I can explain it to her, and she says I'm right, but she's not going to, and I don't expect her to. But that's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And never mind. I like I said, we on the same page. You know, you have a way to come at the people, and I have a way to come at the people.
Is unique, and sometimes we be more analytical, and then sometimes we can do the pace share, and we make up the story as we go. And it's going to change when somebody else tells the story. And you know how we do as black people. That story is going to have added creativity, or someone will deduct and take away. So it's all in the manner of how you tell stories. But what I want my listening audience to understand is that I come on these airwaves to give of myself as I know how to give you. And it's not always my book knowledge. I try to share with you my experiences, and some of you know my experiences. And I was talking about you are getting ready to have the government up on your shoulders. and you are going to be in a war, like it or not. We are going to be in war. And a lot of times, just like we're at war with our flesh, and a lot of us have been at war with our flesh long enough. Now we are going to be at war with the enemy who's trying to really kill us. And you can't take it for granted that somebody wants to take care of you and someone wants to heal you, because they got to reduce this population. They got to reduce the people on this planet. Ain't no two ways about
it. So they say.
And if it's the survival of the fittest, you know you're going to be the first to go if they've got to eliminate some people. Can you talk on that?
Exactly. I mean, exactly. And again, I don't talk about what they're doing first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been doing it since they discovered us. They've been trying to get rid of black people since they discovered us. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is, what are we doing? You know what I'm talking about? What are we doing to protect ourselves? You said that earlier. And like I said, man, there's no other way other than learning who you are, learning your potential, learning to believe in yourself. Christianity and Islam, you believe in things outside of yourself. Any man's religion, you believe in things outside of yourself, and that's by design. The government uses voodoo. Did you know that, people? The government. You know why they practice voodoo? Because they don't practice nothing that don't work. While we're practicing Christianity, Islam, that's just food for thought, people. Food for thought. You know what I'm saying? They have misappropriated our culture.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because lawyers practice the art of voodoo, and they practice using it in the courtroom. And so does just like that inauguration, you better believe that they had one of the voodoo or had one of the fortune tellers on the scene to give them an outlook of what the future holds. That's why you do destiny readings, and when children are born, you read their destiny and the oracles that we are taught to do the divination. And upon doing the divination, we are taught to do OB. All of us need to have OB in our presence, so in case we need to get an answer real quick, a yes or no, we can toss OB with the cowrie shell. These are things that I wanted to share with you, and you know that I've done a whole teaching on the De Lagoon for Santeria. I did that on the Facebook so that people could understand what kind of issue I have if I want to resort to voodoo or icon, or looking at how I can fight back. You can fight back with powerful words. There are powerful words in voodoo, and there's also oracle reading. And also, there are spells. Right. All these things are put out there for you, and you're running from it. And we get more clients that are white people coming in wanting to buy our religion or our way of life. And it's time for you to embrace your own and become empowered with it. Because spells and voodoo are not bad. It's how you use those spells and what you use them for. Some people need to use those spells to get the system off of them, and some people need to use these spells to help determine how to communicate.
And look how they use these spells on us as a people. White people, too. It's funny when you spoke about the lawyer, and what symbol is on all courthouses here in America? The scales of what?
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I said the symbolism that you find on all courtrooms here in America. What does this symbolize? The scale of justice. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually the scale of Mayat. And if you think about it, like I said, there's no justice in the judicial system. Now is it?
There isn't. Well, all of this teaching of the voodoo and understanding every particular culture has their own form of oracle reading. And I've studied some of them. And you need to learn at least one or two of the systems for your own protection. This is ammunition. I had to fight government, and I had the government on my shoulders. And without the Oracle system, I could not fought and won. And I'm telling you, no matter war that you're involved in, when you win, without your ancestors' traditional Oracle reading to help.
Exactly. And I learned that through the Meta Netter, reading the Meta Netter. And you're right. I'm just an example to the people like you are. You know what I'm saying? If they believe if they believe
that the Meta Netter is just an exchange for Ifa, Budum, they're the same thing, the same African tradition.
Exactly.
It's different names.
Different tribes, same ideology. Like you see in America today. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm copper. Well, we don't have a shared ideology. That's culture, to have a shared ideology. And until we have a shared ideology, we're going to always be looking to them people for solutions.
Well, the sad thing is that we don't know our culture and our history, so we will war with our own brothers and sisters about traditional things and then embrace something that comes from our slave master who used it to keep us enslaved. And that has perpetuated and still is keeping us enslaved.
But it should be a tool for individuals like us to show these people in a subtle manner. That's what I do. I use that example you just gave to show these folks. Because I wish I knew what I knew half my life. I've only been studying for the past 4 years. And what I wanted to say before was, if someone looks at me and feels like I'm powerful, you know what I'm saying, that I'm a reflection of that person. I'm the example of how you can become powerful. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to become powerful listening to me. I mean, and if you do, it's gone as soon as I stop talking.
Timothy, we are halfway at the mark of our spiritual enlightenment. We're nowhere near where we should be. I am behind, and so are you, because there's so much more that we have got to encounter that we are going to have to put into action. Because a lot of what I know is theory, and I'm trying my darnest of action by putting it into the lives of these young men so that when they come out of these schools, they have a rites of passage that they can work with. They don't have to turn to crime. They don't have to turn to criminalistic ways. We've got to work with our people to talk. You have choices. You have options. Your criminalistic ways are not going to get you through the system. You might find you have no option here and you have to turn it. No, you don't. It's going to give you some choice. And that's what our people are lacking, the choices of making good decisions so that they won't fall into the system. Because they're baiting you. They're putting you in a position where you think you have to fall into criminalistic ways because you're making a market, a business for the Eurocentric society. As long as they have to manage you and charge money for you, they're getting money from the population to pay for you being in prison. But as long as they feel that they have to keep you in chains in order to govern you, then you continue to become institutionalized, and it'll be a hypothetical prophecy that even though you're not a criminal, you will become that criminal because the lifestyle that you're living in will force you to.
And who's the biggest criminal of them all? What greater crime than to suppress the people of their culture and their language and their home?
Yes.
Who did that?
Yes.
That's the greatest
crime.
But we act just like them. See, that's what I show people. If you cool with that, which a lot of people aren't. A lot of people wondering why their relationships toxic. A lot of people wondering why their friendships are toxic. Well, that's why. You're acting like a white boy, nigga.
Well, ladies
you're
and
narcissistic.
Phone lines, and Timothy, we're gonna beg your pardon here for a second. The phone lines, our number is 516-453-9208. Please do call in and share in this discussion. We're having a hearty discussion with Timothy Warren. He's one of our followers on Facebook, a dedicated follower. He speaks online quite a bit, and now I get to hear his voice for real because he writes up a storm when he's on Facebook. And I was like, hold on here, Timothy, I got to read everything. And I'm glad that he shared his time with us today. I get to hear his perspective from a wise man that is well endowed with culture and history. Timothy, I was wondering if you can talk on the subject of Kemetic and how Kemetic, I started with Kemetic first before I started with Ifa. And Kemetic was more easy to adapt and to understand because we weren't doing a lot of ebals and stuff like that. And I was able to do the oracle readings from the Meta a lot easier. And I had some great predictions. That's what drew me to Meta is when I did some oracle readings and one of the priestess did an oracle reading for me. It was right on the money, and it didn't deviate from anything. So oracle readings are very good from Kemetic. Rana Nefer is one of the persons that I follow. Can you talk on that a little bit?
You know, I kind of touched on it earlier as far as the source. The source, it's not complicated, people. You know what I'm saying? And it's not watered down. You know what I'm saying? Because all I'm saying is the source, like the Empress said. You know what I'm saying? She that's what she did, and that's validation. You know, I don't think you need me to speak on it. I think you just said enough. But
well, the thing I wanted to talk about is that as it was teaching. Okay, I'm going to go to commercial. Hold tight.
That was it.
We're back. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We had a brief intermission there. I wanted to say thank you for all the support. Timothy is on both. He is on Facebook and he is also on my blog talk. Let's see who else we have out here. All right, let me do roll call. Okay. Cana, Timothy. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Doing roll call. Who is this? Mr. Green. And this print is so small I can barely read it. All right. And then we have Serena Cole. Ja. Thank you so much. You're waiting. How are you? And once again, we are live here on with, okay. We are live here online. With Timothy, our guest here online. And for those of you who still like to be a part of our show, our number here is 516-453-9208. And you're welcome to call in. We're having a hearty discussion about looking at our culture and our heritage. We're talking about Kemetic teaching and the uniqueness of Kemetic teaching. Dr. Ronna Nefer is involved with the teaching that I had been involved with. And then I went and studied up under the Chief Metahochi Zanu, and he is but he actually has worked with quite a few people up in the Milwaukee area, Wisconsin. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're free to call in, and our number is 516-453-9208. We've been talking about our leadership and whether or not we need or want leadership. We've been talking about our new inaugurated president and the trouble that he has in his household. I hope and trust that he resolves that issue soon, because it's becoming very annoying for a lot of people. And we don't want to prejudge the man and his son or his family. But nevertheless, we got problems in the White House, serious problems. But what are we doing to make changes in our lives? Because we know that this is going to take a great change, and we don't want anybody leading our lives and guiding us. So we're talking about creating our own judiciary system. We're talking about creating our own issues, and we should really be really serious about that. But let's All right, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, our guest has left the studio, and I would like to say that Timothy, you are great. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And if there's anybody else that likes those digits, it's 516-453-9208, and you're welcome to call into the studio. We're having a hearty discussion this evening. We're talking about ways that we can make changes in our lifestyle so that we can begin to look at developing our own judicial system and our own police department. These are some things that at one time we had control of, and now we've lost all that control, and we have some serious problems with police killings in our community, as well as we've had some problems with the judicial system not looking at the cases like they should. Once again, who is this? I'd like to say thank you for joining us on our Facebook list, and we're going to go to commercial. A blast this evening. We thank you so much to those people in the Facebook room. They're live. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us, Lillian. Timothy, thank you for being on the show, as well as my other featured guests here. I invite you to come back and join us, and also help me to work it out. Let's work it out. That number is 5. right, and we're out here. This is the end. Peace. Oh, devil.